Jordan Henderson.
England captain. Well, sort of. He's England captain tonight. And you would have thought, as long as Wayne Rooney isn't in the team, then he'll be England captain at least until they find another manager who might make another decision.
I think it's.
But England captain.
I think it's.
What do you know?
I think it's. Well, it's interesting. You get Cahill is formerly England vice captain.
Yeah.
And they picked Henderson ahead of Cahill tonight. Yeah. Cahill's going to play tonight, and I wonder if it's Cahill himself's 30. A few question marks around whether or not he'll still be doing the business for England in a period of time. But I think it's an interesting thing. I almost think you can separate club captaincy and national captaincy to a certain extent, and there's a couple of reasons why. I think, because club matches happen all the time, you almost need someone to have taken that responsibility to take that role on. I'm thinking of the off-the-pitch stuff, like going and doing the press, doing meet and greets, all that sort of stuff, which suits some players and doesn't suit others.
Yeah.
I think this national thing, one of the things, what I mean by that is, you look at, everyone's picking their club captain the same way, broadly speaking, the most influential voice in the dressing room, the one we can trust to do X, Y, and Z, if you know what I mean. You go right the way across club football. Even when, so Messi's captain of Argentina, but he's not captain of Barcelona. That's my point. So, or was, I'm not quite sure he's captain of Barcelona right now. What I'm sort of driving at is, you have this idea, you can say it's the play with the most caps at international level, or it's just our best player, we'll just make it our best player. When Messi was captain of Argentina in the World Cup final and it goes to extra time, it's clearly Mascherano who's doing all the stuff that you think is a captain's role, talking to people, helping them out, getting them through it. So there's that. Whereas I think that the international thing's interesting, and I think maybe there should be a little bit less focus on it from an England point of view. It is this big deal of who's going to wear the armband, and it becomes something to talk about a little bit. Whereas I think the club stuff, it is. Do you see what I'm saying? I feel like I'm yammering on about nonsense.
I wonder whether it's a bigger deal in England. I wonder whether they have these big debates. You mentioned Argentina there, or Argentina having debates over who the club captain is, or they more worried about how they're getting on. I don't know. I think
it's a post-Beckham thing.
Maybe. I mean, maybe it's. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Who was England's captain in Italia '90?
I'd guess Terry Butcher, but I'm not entirely sure.
Might have been Brian Robson.
Could have been.
I don't know.
Could have been. I guess Butcher, but I'm not sure.
Do you know who the captain was in Euro '96?
Tony Adams?
I don't know, I'm asking. I'm literally I feel relatively well informed, but I don't know who the captain was. Was it David Seaman? I don't think it was Shearer.
No, Shearer got it later. It's one of those where you look at that Euro '96 team and it had a lot of leaders.
A lot of captains.
A lot of leaders in there. It's probably Stuart Pearce, actually.
Could have been Stuart Pearce.
It was probably Stuart Pearce. So it had, but we've just named 3 or 4 who you think could be. Paul Ince in midfield. There was a lot of kind of leadership there. David Blatt still knocking about people. A lot of caps, and so I guess when we talk about Jordan Henderson as England captain, I think the same conversations start to arise around the time where you make captain of Liverpool, where people start to go, really? Isn't there anyone else? Then you look around and realise there isn't. And are we producing different types of footballers now? Is it less blood and thunder? More kind of these kids who come through academies. Is that a bad thing or a good thing or just a thing? Yeah. I don't know. So it's.
If you look at the England side that's meant to be getting played tonight, it's actually got, again, that conversation that we were having a lot about Liverpool a couple of years ago, and still sort of are to a certain extent. There's not many lads between 25 and 30. Yeah. There's Sturridge and Henderson, and I think that's going to be it. Cahill's 30. And everyone else, I think, is...
And even there, what, 25, 26?
Even
Henderson and Sturridge, so the younger side.
I think Sturridge is 27, but Henderson's 25. Yeah. And I think you look at everyone else, and I think there's only those two who are what you'd call peak footballers. So Lingard and Dyer are expected to play, and Ali is expected to play. Yeah. And who's playing off the right? Who's expected to play off the right?
Walcott on the weekend.
Walcott is actually weirdly 27 to be fair, but I don't think he's going to be dead young until he's dead old. Walcott, I don't think he counts. And Kyle Walker's is a slightly younger footballer, and again hasn't sort of put himself forward. Cahill's 30. There's not Phil Stones. John Stones is expected to play. He's 21. Do you know what I mean? There's no clear give it to him.
Yeah, and I think if they're going to go down the route of investing in youth and saying, well, we're going to build, which I think's a pretty good strategy moving forward. you know, I think England should probably go for that. Then I think Jordan Henderson is a good leader with them, and that might be why they've gone with it and thought, well, you know, actually, if you're going to play a lot of 20 to 22-year-olds, do you necessarily want a captain who's 34? He's always kind of a different generation, isn't he? You know what I mean? In terms of footballing sense. So I mean, I don't necessarily know who that player is, but is Jordan Henderson a better link? Is he a better role model? He's a brilliant role model for a young player in terms of what he's been through and where he's managed to get to in his career, as you know, just in terms of Liverpool. And I think they probably look at him, and I'm sure with the Allardyce thing as well, they want someone kind of relatively clean cut and thing, and you know, he's unlikely to be getting any trouble anytime soon. Jordan Henderson is, and he's fiery on the pitch. Don't get me wrong. He's not kind of backward about going forward, but you know, he probably feels like someone that they can trust and someone who they can put on adverts and things like that. England, so I'm sure all that stuff comes into it. I think they've looked at him, you know, from all that point of view and thought, if there's a young team, a new face for kind of English football, I think Henderson's a pretty good one.
I agree with you, and I think that a lot of that comes into play. I think the fact that he's now, you know, he's come back from adversity 3 times at Liverpool. I think that's it's an important thing to point out, and I'm pleased for him. You know, he started the season well. He deserves the recognition, that not the least of playing for his country, which he's nailed. And then it's the idea of, well, what's the next bit? And the next bit is that. And I just hope that from a Liverpool point of view, he remembers he now has the England captain card in his back pocket, and I think he will. To be fair to Henderson, I think he will.
But he's not quite England captain.
No, but I think he's English senior player. He's certainly now one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that you know, that can get you out of a few scrapes. It can, you know, if you want to be a bit of a bad boy on the pitch, you do get a little bit of leeway, I think.
Or just want to get free kicks. That was Gerrard's thing.
Oh, Gerrard was brilliant at it.
Come on, ref.
Come on, ref.
Hey.
Steven Gerrard, for God's sake, referee, I'm Steven Gerrard. Yeah, doesn't he understand? I think that genuinely is a thing. I think it's an important thing to point out, and it does happen. You know, there is a bit of leeway there, and I very much hope Jurgen Klopp might well get into him when he gets back and remind him that, you know, you've got that pass now in your back pocket. But I'm really pleased for him. I'm pleased for him as a person, because firstly, I think he always comes across as a nice lad first and foremost, and I think that matters. And you know, it's a lot of people, and it's not so long ago, I mean, it's literally this season, a lot of people were acting as though the idea that he was playing football for Liverpool was in some way outrageous.
Yeah, there's people who would have sold him in the summer. Yeah, definitely.
And it's not. You know, he's a really good player. I don't think he's our best player, but you know, I think he's got loads and loads that he can offer. And I thought you saw that in his absence last season at times, you know, and I think it's one of the big bonuses that we've got this season is Jordan Henderson on the pitch. I think he makes a difference on the pitch, even when he himself isn't playing very well.
Yeah, he's playing with huge amount of purpose at the moment as well, and I thought he was really impressive for England the other night. I watched quite a bit of it, and I was just impressed with how he took it upon himself to kind of run that midfield, really. And the easiest thing to do would have been to kind of bow to Rooney, if you like, because he was kind of playing alongside him, but he really took the game by the scruff of the neck. And yeah, it's just Malta, but I'm talking about the lads who were around him and him looking around and going, well, do you know what, I'm going to run this game for England is an important thing. It's an important part of a footballer's development, especially midfielders, when they can start doing that. And that feels to me what Henderson is doing at the moment. I think he's enjoying his role, what he's being asked to do in the Liverpool team at the moment, probably a little bit more than he was when he was first asked to do it. And yeah, it's going pretty well for him, and long may it continue.
Long may it continue indeed. So Jordan Henderson, here's to you.